To call the City of Helena City Commission regular meeting to order. It is August 3rd, 2026. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Acting City Manager Doctor.
Here.
Commissioner Reed.
Here.
Commissioner Rigby.
Here.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Here.
Commissioner Logan.
Here.
Mayor Dean.
Here. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. The minutes for November 17th, 2025, December 3rd, 2025, December 8th, 2025, June 15th, 2026, and July 20th, 2026 have all been submitted. Are there any comments regarding the minutes? All right, they will stand as submitted. We will move along to proclamations. City of Helena proclamation. Whereas Helena and Montana have a long and significant rail history, and whereas the first locomotive arrived in Helena on June 13th, 1883, and whereas the east and westbound tracks of the Northern Pacific Transcontinental Railroad were connected approximately 40 miles west of Helena on August 22nd, 1883, and whereas the Golden Spike ceremony, which was attended by former U.S. President Ulysses S. Grant, occurred on September 8, 1883, and whereas this event is celebrated in the driving of the Golden Spike mural by artist Amadei Julin, located in Montana's capital, and whereas Helena's historic passenger rail depot was designed by Charles A. Reed, who also designed New York's Grand Terminal Station, and whereas Helena's passenger rail history reflects the city's role as a transportation, civic, and economic center, and whereas the City of Helena adopted a 2017 resolution supporting the reestablishment of passenger rail service through Resolution 20399, and whereas the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority and its partners are working to advance the Big Sky North Coast Corridor and strengthen regional passenger rail connections. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Emily K. Dean, Mayor of the City of Helena, Montana, do hereby proclaim August 3rd, 2026 as Passenger Rail Day throughout Helena, and the city recognizes the importance of passenger rail history, restoration, and future planning in Helena, Montana, and the greater Northwest. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Helena, Montana, to be affixed this 3rd day of August, 2026, and we have Mr. Sean Morrison with the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority. Yes. Oh, sorry. No, thank you. She'll get it right here.
Didn't even see. Well, there's a camera right there in his hands. See?
1, 2, 3.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Yes, Sean Morrison. I don't actually work for the Passenger Rail Authority. I volunteered to help them. They have a conference coming to the city August 25th and 27th. It's actually the Greater Northwest Rail Summit, co-hosted by the Pacific Northwest Economic Region, which is Washington, Idaho, Montana, and the neighboring Canadian provinces. I asked Emily if she would do this, and I'm so grateful because the conference is a big deal. We'll have an assistant secretary of the U.S. Department of Transportation will be there. Senator Tim Sheehy will be there. Multiple federal officials from the Federal Railway Administration will be there, as well as a member of the Amtrak board. So it means a lot to the city. I think you're all aware, I don't need to repeat it, it would be a huge economic driver to have tourism and all sorts of stuff coming on that train, to have elderly parents being able to take that train to Mayo and Rochester. It would be transformative for the city. So I thank you for your support.
All right, we will move along to the consent agenda. We have 2 items, item A, claims, and item B, change order in excess of 10% of the original contract for the 2025 WWTP boiler project number 25-11. Are there any commission comments on the consent agenda? All right, seeing none, is there any public comment on the consent agenda? Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean,
Yes, Commissioner Reed.
I move to approve consent agenda items A and B.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. See no additional comments. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we will move on to bid awards. Item A, bid purchase award for the Missouri River Water Treatment Plant High Zone Pump Station Variable Frequency Drive number 26-11. Mr. Clark.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This is a bid award for the variable frequency drive. Basically a speed controller for large pumps at the Missouri River Water Treatment Plant that pump all the water to town. We received one bid from Nash Electric for $119,741. We're recommending that you approve the bid. This is important because the VFD drives the pump that is also on the backup generator at the water treatment plant. So at the present and for the last year or two, we have not had pump capabilities from Missouri River Water Treatment Plant in the event of a power outage. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Mr. Clark? I did have one question.
Sure.
I'm surprised, guys. 3 years ago, it was not uncommon to see one bid come in the last year or so. I feel like we've been seeing more competitive or more numerous bids coming in. Do you know why we only had one on this?
Mayor,
one.
Dean, and Commissioners, this is a bid purchase, so we actually kind of knew, the superintendent of the plant kind of knew what they wanted. So when that occurs, we tend to write what's called a tight specification so that we get the exact piece of equipment that we want, and oftentimes, that means only one supplier.
Okay,
So that was the case here. We want something that's compatible with everything else we have there. We want something that works and everybody's comfortable with, that we know how to install. Since we're just purchasing it, that was the case here. And we have to write a bid purchase for anything over $80,000
Yep.
that the city buys. So
Okay.
it's not actually a contractor. It's more of a supplier.
got it. That makes sense. Thank
Okay.
you for that explanation. All right. Seeing no additional comments or questions, is there any public comment on this item? Any public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment and no additional commission discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean,
Yes, Commissioner Logan.
I would move to award the Missouri River Water Treatment Plant High Zone Pump Station VFD bid purchase number 26-11 to the lowest responsible bidder, Nash Electric, in the amount of $119,741.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no final discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
All right, we'll go to
Thank
bid
you.
award item B. This is the bid award for the 2025 Hale Reservoir renovation project number 25-20. Mr. Burke.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. So this is the bid award for the Hill Reservoir renovation. This tank is 2.2 million gallon drinking water stone tank located on top of Mount Acropolis adjacent to Clancy Street. The tank is approaching 100 years old and the exterior grout between the stones is degraded, which is causing several issues. One of the issues is water's getting behind the grout, which is degrading it. And the other one is we're getting a lot of critters behind there, mice and whatnot, and they dig in there and create homes and whatnot in there. And both of these things further break down the exterior of the tank and could affect the structural integrity and allow animals to get in there. The design of the project is to repoint the tank, which is replacing the existing grout, to restore as close as possible to the original condition of the tank. The project will keep the historic value. In addition to fixing the grout, the project will fix any holes in the roofing. A lot of that is actually in between the roofing and the grout. The city opened 2 bids for the 2025 Hale Reservoir renovation, Project 2520, on June 30th, 2026. The apparent low bidder for the project was Hydrotech Incorporated of Lehi, Utah, with a quote of $298,600. Proposal to consider awarding the contract to Hydrotech Incorporated, which submitted the lowest responsive bid. Repointing the rock walls and resealing the roof will make the building rodent-proof and extend the life of the structure while maintaining the historic value of the structure. It will also, the construction of this project will extend the usable life of the structure. Staff recommends moving to award the Hale Reservoir renovation project 2520 to the lowest responsible bidder, Hydrotech Incorporated, in the amount of $298,600. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, questions for Mr. Burke?
Maradine?
Yes. Commissioner Rigby?
Thank you. Did, just from past experiences, did we talk to the Historical Society?
Yes, we did.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, any additional comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, is there any public comment? Any public comment? All right, seeing no public comment, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll
entertain a motion.
Maradine?
Yes, Commissioner Rigby.
I move to award the Hale Reservoir renovation project number 25-20 to the lowest responsible bidder, Hydrotech Incorporated, in the amount of $298,600.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no additional discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed?
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby?
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson?
Aye.
Commissioner Logan?
Aye.
Mayor Dean?
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
All right, we'll move along. Report of the city attorney.
Mayor, Commissioners, she has nothing to report tonight.
And we'll move on to report of the acting city manager.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. Much in the way that Manager Lake provides an update, I also have a few things to report. One of which is construction season is ongoing. We continuing to get feedback from folks who have experiences with this construction. It's really just a thank you to the public for their patience. It's important for our community to have these upgrades to infrastructure, but we understand the frustration it may cause, so it's just a thank you to the public for some patience. Also, I think you'll be interested to know that certified tax values were received by the city today, but it was about 4:45 when we got them. We will schedule an administrative meeting to update you at the time when we have enough information to give you. It's looking like that will likely be August 12th because the next one, that would give us enough time to actually look at the information and provide enough for you to have some conclusions for some decisions that have been made and how that might be affected. The next thing then is special events permitting survey closed last week Friday. We've collected the information, but not compiled it in any useful format at this point. Our aim was to see if there were needs to change in the permitting or in the ordinances themselves, or both. So we will report back to you on whether or not we think we need changes on either or both. The next listening session is something that I hope everyone's interested in. It's at Brothers Tap House on August 24th at 5 p.m. Community Development Department will be talking about how we support our unhoused neighbors. The public's invited to ask questions or even suggest other topics for listening sessions at beheardhelena.com. And finally, then, the last thing, over the past several months, the Greater Helena Metropolitan Planning Organization, MPO, we like to call it, because it's much easier to say, has been evaluating transportation needs across the Greater Helena area, including road conditions, safety, growth trends, and multimodal connectivity. It's developing a set of recommendations to address all of those, and now we need the public's input. So there are several ways to participate. Two pop-up events, one at the Helena Farmers Market on Saturday, August 8th from 9 to 1. Another one at East Helena Farmers Market, Tuesday, August 11th from 3 to 6 p.m. In-person open houses will be scheduled also on Wednesday, August 12th at the Lewis and Clark Public Library, and that's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., so virtually all day. Helena Civic Center event as well on August 13th, and that'll be from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. And then there's a virtual open house online that you can also access from August 1st to the 31st. It's pretty neat. I went through it and looked at it. You can click through, and there's lots of really good information in there you can digest at your own leisure, and that's at www.greaterhelena.mpo.com/LRTP. And it'll take you right there to a link, and you can go through the whole thing. And that's all I have, unless you have questions.
Any questions for acting city manager? Yes.
Thank you, Mayor Dean and Acting City Manager. Thank you, more just a comment and a question. Thank you for doing the special events survey. I know that has been something we've been talking about, and I imagine that will inform some of the work that you're doing about events in city parks and maybe protests. Do you have a sense on a timeline? I know you just said you closed it and need to evaluate before you bring it back to us, but a timeline when it will come back to us on an agenda?
Mayor, Commissioner Gustafson, I don't have a sense. I know that we said that there would be a draft ready by the end of August. I don't see why we couldn't still stick with that schedule. It's right along with what my to-do list looks like in my office. So I plan to do it on that same timeline.
Great, thank you.
Great. Any additional questions? All right, thank you. That was a lot of good information and lots of upcoming events for the public to get involved in. We're going to go ahead and come back to commission comments because I failed to include that before report of the city attorney. So any commission comments or questions? All right, seeing none, we'll move along to communications from the Helena Citizens Council. Any updates from the HCC? Madam Clerk, do we have any HCC members online?
Mayor Dean, I don't see a representative from the HCC.
Okay, if the HCC comes to it between now and the end of the meeting, we will come back to this item. All right, we'll move along to regular items. I think we have a number of regular items. What I think we'll plan to do is keep moving on through, and then whatever we get to around 7:30, we'll take a recess and then keep going. But maybe I'll be surprised and we'll just whip right through these. All right, so regular item A, consider a resolution of intention to establish fees to provide a dedicated fire unit at special events and cost recovery for emergency response and repeal resolution number 19088. Assistant Chief Wenzel.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners. This is a resolution for the cost recovery. This was kind of brought up in the administrative meeting, kind of a little bit of a history. This was established over 15 years ago. This has not adjusted for cost of inflation, so it's the same price of what we were getting from 2010 when this was signed. All these rates are based upon other fees or different fee setups, either through the FEMA or Montana State Emergency Response Commission, or internal fees to make sure that we cover everything. I can go further into it if you guys would like to, or I can answer questions.
Questions or comments for the Assistant Chief? No questions.
Okay.
All right, is there any public comment on this item? Any public comment? All right, seeing no public comment, any final commission discussion? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean.
Oh, 2 weeks will Okay, sounds good. Go ahead,
Yeah, sorry.
Commissioner Reed.
Mayor Dean, I move to approve a resolution of intention to establish fees to provide a dedicated fire unit at special events and cost recovery for emergency response, and repeal resolution number 19800, and set a public hearing date for Monday, August 17th, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no final discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby,
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson,
Aye.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, item B, consider approval of a resolution distributing Railroad Urban Renewal District tax increment financing funds to JMPD Enterprise LLC for costs associated with the property redevelopment improvements at 1000 East Lindale. Senior Planner Ray.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. As was mentioned, you're hearing the first of, well, 3 tax increment financing requests. This one from the Railroad District. This is for JMPD Enterprises LLC, who operate Helena Paint and Body at currently located near Helena Middle School off of Helena Avenue, but they have a new property that they acquired in recent years at 1000 East Lindale Avenue, which is the former site of the builder's first source. You've probably all seen the construction if you've driven down Lindale, headed toward the Railroad District. They are undertaking huge amounts of work to renovate that property to suit their business needs so they can expand their operations. They are specifically seeking tax increment financing funding to address sidewalk improvements along National and Dodge Avenues, deal with ADA parking improvements on the property, installing right-of-way landscaping, and they're also dealing with demolition, or dealt with, I should say, demolition of an underperforming structure, as well as removal of defunct railroad tracks that used to serve the property. The total requested amount is $76,322.50, which is 50% of the eligible project costs for those discrete tasks I mentioned. The total level of investment that they're making with this property, though, is nearer to the region of $5.5 million, so their request is only about 1.4% of all the investments being made into the property. And the application was reviewed during the June 9th, 2026 Helena Urban Renewal Tax Increment Financing Advisory Board meeting and was unanimously recommended for funding approval by the 7 voting members. So again, the motion before you tonight is to move to approve a resolution distributing Railroad Urban Renewal District tax increment financing funds to JMPD Enterprise LLC for costs associated with property redevelopment improvements at 1000 East Lindale Avenue. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have of me. I also want to let you know that both Mandy and Jesse Volk are here on behalf of the business.
Great. Questions or comments from the commission? Commissioner Rigby.
Thank you. Just for new guy question. So the request was 152,000 and they're gonna make $76,000 improvement?
Mayor Commissioners, the request for TIF is actually $76,322.50. So all of the eligible project activities that I rattled off, those different aspects from the right-of-way improvements to other site improvements that they've been dealing with, those all total $152,645. So I'm sorry if that was worded poorly in the memo.
No, that's okay. Thank you. Yeah, that makes more sense. The way I was thinking the opposite, but thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I think before we get into these 3 items, we haven't had TIF requests. We've had maybe one recently, but everything's getting up and moving again after the legislation change. We created a new board, et cetera. Can you talk a little bit about what the purpose of TIF is in how we define eligible projects, what eliminating blight means, just kind of like a 101 quickly.
Mayor Commissioners, I will try to do my level best to do so
Thank
without going a little overboard. Please stop me if I do so. So the whole purpose of tax increment financing districts is to address blight that has been found within the district. There's a statement of blight that gets produced for a geographic area, and then there is an urban renewal district plan that is crafted to specifically figure out the ways in which the community wants to address those blight factors that come out of state law, of which I want to say off the top of my head there are 13. So we completed all of that in this case for the Railroad District in, I want to say 2016, off the top of my head. It's been a long time now, certainly. But once the urban renewal district is established, a TIF provision is applied. We get a sort of baseline assessment for that district of all the real property values in the area. And so that is sort of the static level at which anything that accrues above and beyond that produces increment for the TIF that the city can then move into projects, whether they are public property or private property, where the improvements serve a public benefit under the state constitution. So over the years, we have done that across our 3 urban renewal districts, the Railroad, Downtown, and the Capitol Hill Mall most recently, with the award that was made last month off the top of my head. So that is high level how that works. When the applications come in, they are first vetted by staff, just so that we can work with the applicant to assure that what they are requesting funding for actually meets what is set forth in state statute. In MCA, I don't have the section information for me. Oh, no, actually, that's a lie. It's in the memo. But regardless, have to make sure it aligns with that, have to make sure it aligns with the urban renewal district plan, and by extension, the land use plan. Now it was the growth policy previously when the district was established. And then we have the board review the application through that lens. If any of you have ever looked at one of the TIF applications, on the 3rd page, you're going to see a listing of different criteria, the statutory requirements, the long-range planning requirements being amongst them, but also we want to look at things like what revenue is going to be generated from this proposal. Is there going to be a job creation component to what they're undertaking? Is there investment spin-off opportunity with what's being done? So there's a whole array of these things that we have the board keep in mind when they are reviewing the applications to assure that they are in conformance with all these other requirements programmatically.
Awesome. That was A+ on that description.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Any additional questions? Yes, Commissioner Gustafson.
Thank you, Mayor Dean, and thank you, Senior Planner Ray. I had a question that I think I'll have the same question for all 3, and you just kind of touched on it with the criteria and the plans that we just, the work plans that we just approved. Can you expand on a little bit how, so for this one, how this project fits in the prioritization of projects? Sorry, I'm trying to use the right words because of the goals.
Sure.
This thing.
Very good question.
Our work plan. How does it align with the work plan? There we go. That's a clear question.
Yeah, Mayor, Commissioner Gustafson. Yeah, I don't actually have the work plans in front of me, but uniformly across all the districts, some of the key things were addressing demolition of underperforming properties and also dealing with infrastructure improvements, particularly things like sidewalk improvements, because multimodal transportation opportunities are so important to the vitality of these districts. And so that's how it ties into this one specifically.
Mayor, I have a follow-up on the multimodal. I noticed, and this may not be an appropriate question, the Centennial Trail currently dead ends in this property. And so is there, when we look at, how could something like the Centennial Trail be incorporated in TIF applications when they think about multimodal beyond just the like sidewalks around the edge, which I think are very important? You know, the railroad tracks that they're going to take out would be in line with the Centennial Trail if it were to continue through their private property. Can you speak to a little bit about that multimodal piece and how that could be addressed with TIF, maybe more generically?
Mayor, Commissioners, I don't want to punt that question, but I would say that that's more of a question, I think, for parks as far as the alignment and where it's going to go. And the bigger hurdle, I think, as I understand things from over the years, is actually crossing Montana rather than cutting through this property. So that is something that I think I assume, and I apologize, I shouldn't make this assumption on the record, but I assume that that's more of something that's going to have to be addressed once the study is complete for changes to the right-of-way and the grade separated crossing.
I might just chime in. Dr. Knopke is not with us tonight, but I do know that's something that is included within the railroad crossing elimination grant in that oh, actually, you know what? I take that back. Director Knopke is online. Sorry. Director Knopke, go ahead. I almost stole your thunder.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. You're correct. We'll be addressing that crossing or crossing opportunities with the grade separation and that in design of the roundabout there. But to the bigger portion is the tie into the trail across once we get across Montana and where that ultimately goes. That was looked at in the 5-point multimodal study in a general overview. But as we get farther along with the design for the grade separation and look at that tie-in location and then to continue that trail to tie into that piece that's already over there across the interstate.
Thank you. All right, any additional questions on the JMPD Enterprise TIF application? All right, seeing none, is there any public comment on this item? Any public comment? All right, seeing no public comment, any final thoughts from the commission? Yes, Commissioner Gustafson.
Thank you, Mayor. Can we ask the applicants if they have anything? I just always like to hear from the applicants, and I know they chose not to stand up for public comment, but is that appropriate that we?
If the applicants would like to give public comment, or if you have a direct question for them,
I guess I'll ask a question. I appreciate that you're staying in the downtown core with your business, and so I'd love to know more maybe about why you chose to stay instead of moving out.
So we've been in a location on 829 North Warren Street since 1948, and it's been Helena Body and Paint there that long. We've outgrown that location. We found this property, decided to purchase this one and move our facility there. The railroad TIF money that we're asking for, would just help improve the site. I don't know, a little nervous, sorry.
no, you're good. Thank you, that was great.
Thanks.
Sir, could I have you state your name for the record, please?
Jesse Volk.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And I do know I was just dropping my aunt off there the other day, and man, that's a busy place to get in and out of. So I think this new site will accommodate the morning drop-offs much more efficiently. Okay, awesome. We will go ahead and entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean,
Yes, Commissioner Rigby.
I move to approve a resolution distributing railroad urban renewal district tax increment financing funds to JMPD Enterprise LLC for costs associated with property redevelopment improvements at 1000 East Lindale Avenue.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no additional discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed,
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby,
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson,
Aye.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
All right, item C, consider approval of a resolution distributing downtown urban renewal district tax increment financing funds to Stockman Financial Corporation for costs associated with pedestrian amenity improvements at 1000 North Last Chance Gulch. Planner Ray, Senior Planner Ray.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. So this downtown tax increment financing request is the third and final TIF requests from Stockman Financial Corporation. They submitted an application in spring of this year when they finalized some numbers for some of the redevelopment happening at that Lindale Last Chance intersection where they acquired property in recent years. They previously, just for the sake of history, since I know that you weren't all serving on the commission when they last had their applications come forward, but in late '24, they submitted an application. Late the following month, they had it brought to the commission. It was for a very small request of $6,450. That was to deal with abatement activities for an underperforming property. Their subsequent application, a few months later, was for the actual demolition activities, and that was just shy of $32,000. So in total to date, they've gotten a little over $38,000 of downtown tax increment finance funding, and that was solely for the removal of the muffler shop, just for the sake of Commissioners Rigby and Gustafson, who didn't serve previously on the board, on the commission, rather. So this present application, coming to 2026 now, is for $306,126. I appreciate that there was a discrepancy between what was in the minutes for the board meeting versus what is represented in the memo and resolution, but I did just confirm with Steve Fawcett on behalf of the bank that the numbers that I have reflected here in the memo and resolution are correct. As an FYI, we will make sure that the board is aware to make that correction. Anyway, so the funding that they are seeking in this present application will help with the installation of a multi-use path for walkers, bikers, so they can get up the hill from around the Gulch area to the intersection of Last Chance and Lyndale. And it will also help with the installation of sidewalks where none of it have existed previously on West 16th, as well as widening sidewalks along Last Chance Gulch, and on both sides, they'll be, in effect, building in Boulevard where none has previously existed. So this is a huge improvement to the public as far as this pedestrian amenity is concerned, and to beautify that corner. Concrete's very expensive, I think, which is reflected in the cost that you're seeing. The total investment for this whole development for the bank, they have said is approaching $39 million. They estimate that the market value for the bank when it's complete is going to be in the area of $27.3 million and will generate $431,000 annually in tax revenues based on FY25 tax revenue, or sorry, tax rates, I should say. They're going to occupy most of the space in the building, but there will be leased tenant space as well, which is exciting, and they might open up some of the fifth floor space to the public for particular types of events and things. So the application also went forward to the TIF Advisory Board at the June 9th meeting and was also unanimously recommended for funding approval. I am happy to answer any questions you may have of me. There's also Steve Fawcett here on behalf of the bank. I did just want you to know, because since we have 2 downtown tax increment financing applications this evening, that with the present amount of funding that the city has, less any project commitments, and less what Director Brink anticipates that we're going to get funding requests for in this coming fiscal year, and less this request and the second request this evening, we would still have over $2 million left in downtown TIF funds. So just as a baseline level of awareness for everybody, the fund is healthy. And now I'm officially done.
Great, thank you, Ms. Ray. Questions or comments from the commission? Yes,
Mayor
Commissioner Rigby.
Thank you, Mayor Dean. Thank you for the clarification on the amount change, because my question was going to be, was there a cap on it? And then also just because both of the addresses are 1,000. So I just want to make sure that a lot of same numbers, so thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Reed.
Thank you, Mayor Dean. I was driving past this and I wasn't able to stop and get out, but we are talking about boulevards sort of around the corner. But there are not boulevards after that in either direction. And I think I'm a little concerned about, I mean, this is a large cost. I'm all for pedestrian improvements, but I'm also wondering about building boulevards in this tiny section that's not going to be continued and what the value is in that. And if we could get some clarity on that, I'd appreciate it.
Mayor and Commission, I think that this speaks just to the desire to enhance wherever possible, make any incremental improvements that we can over the years. We like to hope that these buildings will be around for quite a while, but the reality is, as time wears on, if any redevelopment occurs with any of those other properties, and the Transportation Systems Department or the applicant requests to do something similar, hopefully over time we can make sure that there's a more cohesive streetscape in the future. It's possible that Director Konopky might have other words of wisdom to share beyond that as well, since his department was involved in considering this request for the right-of-way changes.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Yep, Commissioner Gustafson.
Thank you, Mayor Dean, and I'll have a question. I want to first, I'll have a few, if I may. The question about boulevards, so it's to add a boulevard on Last Chance Gulch, but not necessarily but not to add a boulevard on West Lyndale, but to add planters on West Lyndale. Am I reading that correctly? And it connects with that existing multimodal path that comes up from the tunnel that's divided, and then does it go to be straight, I forget the technical term for it, but the sidewalk just right against the road. So it comes divided and then will be right on Lyndale. And then when it turns the corner, it will have a boulevard. Am I looking at the plans correctly?
Mayor and Commission, that is my understanding.
Okay.
Yes, and part of the reason, just to clarify, that they don't show the same right-of-way treatment on Lyndale is, I think, a function of it being MDT right-of-way.
and not wanting to step farther back to do a boulevard, or that they can't do a boulevard on Lindale?
Mayor and Commission, I will defer to Director Kronapke, but I suspect it is the latter, that they're not allowed.
Okay. Okay. And I guess then a follow-up on this one, I really appreciate the pedestrian improvements and the multimodal. I'm wondering about this path too, if there was thoughts about connecting it on 16th as well, to then, instead of go to the corner on Lindale and Last Chance, users can go up 16th and then come up Last Chance Gulch to be more of a protected pathway away from the highway traffic, or from the Lindale traffic.
Mayor and Commission, I would have to defer to the applicant on that point. I think that there probably, for engineering reasons, was rationale for why they had it connect in the manner that they did, but I can't personally speak to that.
Okay, then I'll keep going. I had another question. I was looking, well, let me ask the same question I asked from the last one. Can you speak a little bit to how this aligns with the goals of the work plan? I see in the cover letter, it's about downtown vibrancy, mix of uses, upgrading underperforming properties. I'm wondering how we rank this with maybe some of the other projects.
Mayor and Commission, so I just want to clarify one thing with respect to how the work plans operate.
Okay.
And I apologize, I don't know if you were present in the course of the meeting where those were considered for approval, but for the uninitiated, basically, those are the board's way of saying, we think that these are the projects that we should try to direct funding to, particularly when we have competitive cycles. I should note for the record that this application aligns with what's in the work plan. It's an infrastructure improvement project and with an emphasis on multimodal transportation. But when there is a competitive cycle, which we haven't had one where it's been so competitive that we're oversubscribed with requests for funds, and this is not one of those situations tonight, but were we to have one of those, if there were projects that were not in alignment with those goals that they ranked as an advisory board and approved, the city commission approved, those ones would not rank highest out of the stack of ones that were eligible, if I'm wording that correctly.
So to repeat that, if I may, that the work plan really only comes into play if it's competitive. Otherwise, it's first in, first out, as long as it aligns with the goals of the TIF district.
Mayor and Commission, fundamentally, yes.
Okay. And I guess that maybe I had brought this up at a previous meeting about having a funding cycle, so that maybe to have a better sense of all the projects out there, to compare one project against each other. But I also appreciate you explaining how much is in the fund right now, and it's considered a healthy fund. Let me think. I have one more comment kind of on this, and I'll think if I have a question too. I was looking at our Helena Forward plan as well, and some of the goals for downtown, and one of them, 6.41 in the implementation plan, is prioritize mixed-use spaces that combine residential, retail, and office functions to boost activity through day and night. I really appreciate that this will have a couple uses, that the third and fourth floor will have tenants. I'm just kind of struggling with that, the front, and that this project doesn't add ground floor retail and some of those other small spaces that I think we need downtown that add vibrancy. I do think back to, I'm going to remember his name, Jeff Speck. He did the author of Walkable Communities, had a presentation, 16 years ago, that Downtown Helena hosted, and he talked about interesting walks and having an interesting walk and stops along the way. And I'm a little concerned about that we're getting a lot of walls, and that, all the activity is happening up high, and that we're not prioritizing mixed use on the ground level for our downtown, which is a priority, and the day and night piece. And so I don't know how that, factors in. I know we have to follow our TIF guidelines, but I wanted to comment on that as we think about funding in the district and projects that could address that.
Mayor and Commission, if I may offer a response to that, absolutely. The land use plan speaks to trying to promote mixed-use development where appropriate throughout the community, basically anywhere that's not a residential district. We'd love to see more of that, whether it's vertical or horizontal. throughout the community. I would note that what is being proposed by Stockman Bank is fully compliant with our zoning regulations. One thing that is up for consideration, certainly as we are working on the second phase of our zoning code update too, though, is a consideration of whether there maybe ought to be a requirement for more active uses in certain portions of the downtown district, such as this or others. I think that is definitely a worthwhile comment to make and something for the community to consider as we move that project forward over the next year.
Okay. Other questions? Yep, Commissioner Reed, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Dean. So it's been referred to as a multimodal path, and I was looking at the pictures and trying to look at the drawings, and I see people walking bicycles on a sidewalk. And from the drawings, I'm not seeing it as a mixed-use path. It looks like a sidewalk, but am I looking at it wrong, or can someone help me understand if it is actually a mixed-use path or if it is a sidewalk?
Mayor and Commission, I will defer to the applicant about the details of that proposal. I don't have them to hand with me with my printouts tonight, but I believe that it can be used for any multimodal purpose really effectively, whether it's walking or biking or
Strolling.
E-biking without having to use pedal power or whatever.
Mayor Dean and Planner Wright, you can't bike on the sidewalks though, right? So is it a sidewalk or is it a path? Again, these drawings are a little hard for me to interpret.
Mayor and Commission, it's been listed by the applicant as a path, so I'm assuming, and we'll defer to them, that it is intended for that form of use, even if it has the appearance of, in the drawings, of being more like sidewalk.
Thanks.
I did have a question. Do we have, and I may have missed this in here, and if you can't answer the question, I will just ask Mr. Fawcett afterwards, a timeline as to when this project would be completed.
Mayor Commission, it's actually wonderful that you asked that question because I asked Steve that same question this evening, and he said it's closer to 2029 for full completion.
Okay. Just brief comment, I think this is one of those properties that there is a reason that it's one of the kind of last semi-vacant properties in downtown because I think it's a really difficult one to redevelop. We had to go through the remediation, gas station, car repair, lots of things that happen when you have a difficult property like that. And so I think this is obviously a pretty substantial investment in that property. And the reason I asked about the completion point is because the way that TIF works, once this property is complete and on the tax rolls, that further benefits the TIF, I think, to be able to make other investments in some of these other areas that we want to see more vibrancy throughout the downtown. So, I'm grateful that Stockman is interested in making such a significant investment in our community. And I know that there's the running joke about financial institutions in our community, and Helena has a very long history of it. It is the reason that we were able to make it through the boom and bust cycles of the mining industry, because we were the financial center of the state. And when you have financial institutions that have large headquartered investments in your community, it means that you have greater access to loans and lines of credit and opportunities to get small business loans and mortgages and everything else for your community. And so I do have, it is a running joke in Helena, obviously, but it is the one thing that has kept us from overcoming the boom and bust cycles as a community that started as, a mining camp. And we were able to not see the fortunes so diminished like other communities because we had those financial institutions to keep us afloat. All right, any additional questions or comments? So I think we will go ahead and move to public comment. And Mr. Fawcett, if you'd like to come up, I think let's let Mr. Fawcett give his public comment, and then if you're okay staying up here, I think there might be a couple questions for you.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I'm Steve Fawcett. I'm their Helena Market President for Stockman Bank. I'll be brief. I do appreciate the consideration, Mayor Dean and the commissioners, for our request. Just a little background, we've acquired the property, it's been a few years ago at least now, and it's an exciting project for Stockman, and we see that corner of downtown Helena as a kind of a cornerstone of the downtown area, and it's something we thought we could really add value to Helena, and with a nice structure that's improved the walkability, the landscaping, but jobs for the community, and we think it's a great project overall, and we appreciate your support. I'm not familiar with the ongoing joke about paying. No, I'm just kidding. I was under the impression the general public wanted more financial institutions in town, so no, I'm kidding. I'll digress.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Fawcett? Yes, Commissioner Reed.
Thank you, Mayor Dean and Mr. Fawcett. Just the question I had about the path, and again, I'm not great at reading these drawings, so is the path envisioned as a walk-bike path, or is it a sidewalk, or are there both pieces? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Reed. My understanding, and this is a banker's understanding, I'm not the architect or the engineer, but I believe they're paths, and that was the idea of it, that you could have multiple ways to bike or walk or, run, and that was the idea that, with my understanding.
Any other questions for the applicant? Now's your chance if you're going to ask one. Okay, Commissioner Gustafson.
And thank you, and thank you for your comments and being up here. Do you have a sense of the other tenants, the type of tenants that will be on the third and fourth floor?
Typically, it's Class A office space. A fit probably isn't something you'd say restaurant, shopping, things of that nature. It's typically Class A office that would be an example, an accounting firm, a law firm, a real estate firm, things of that nature.
So standard kind of business hours usage?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the parking lot, will that only be for use for the tenants of the building? Or will after-hours parking be allowed in that space?
My understanding is it's tenants only.
Okay, and one more if I may. So then part of this project is adding the boulevard would take away on-street parking in front of the building on Last Chance, is that correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, and then okay. I have some concerns about parking, I'll just say that.
Thank you.
I wonder, really briefly, a question maybe for Director Konopke. I know that we run into a lot of issues right there on the corner in terms of snow storage. And it's MDT also gets involved here. So I wonder, can you maybe talk about pros and cons of boulevard additional snow storage versus not having the on-street parking? And I'm thinking, we don't have, since there's parking for the folks that'll be at the bank or in the other tenants. Oh, he's here. Oh, you snuck right in. I'm talking to you online here. Did you hear my question? Okay, you can catch your breath. In terms of the boulevard, I know we run into a lot of issues in terms of snow storage in that intersection because you're going uphill more or less to turn from, if you're turning up Glendale, up Last Chance, it gets slushy and there's really nowhere for it to go. Can you maybe talk about the pros and cons of additional snow storage versus on-street parking? And I don't know how far the yellow goes since it is a turning lane up Last Chance, but can you maybe talk about some of that?
Sure, Mayor and Commissioners. So earlier in June, I believe, the Stockman Bank requested deviations to remove that parking. And so in removing that parking, that's where the boulevard will go. So we have the parking for snow storage. It won't eliminate the berm as it goes around the corner, but it will help. And then same with along 16th, we extended, instead of parking on street, that extended that boulevard out. And so we should be in a better situation there. It also helped the architects and the bank provide that buffer for their building, and then allowed kind of a buffer strip for the building and the sidewalk. So.
Okay, thanks, that's helpful. All right, any final questions? Oh, yeah, we'll come back to that. Okay, seeing no additional questions, thank you for being up here. We'll go back to public comment. Is there any additional public comment in the room? All right, seeing no additional public comment in the room, we'll go to public comment online. Madam Clerk.
Mayor Dean, I do have one hand raised online. Callie Asham.
Ms. Asham.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. It's weird not to be with you. I'm down in my office, but my name is Callie Asham. And on behalf of the Helena Area Chamber of Commerce, we are pleased to support Stockman Bank's TIP application for its new branch at Lindale and Last Chance. This project represents a significant investment in Helena and will bring much needed improvement to a highly visible gateway corner in our community. In addition to enhancing the area aesthetically, this new location demonstrates Stockman Bank's continued commitment to Helena and to its residents. Stockman has consistently been more than a financial institution here in Helena. They are a community partner that supports our businesses, nonprofits, students, and countless local initiatives. Their decision to invest in a third Helena location is a remarkable vote of confidence in our community, and I'm excited about the positive impact this project can have in Helena for years to come. I encourage the Commission to approve this application and support a project that aligns with our shared goals of economic development, community investment, and responsible redevelopment. This is exactly the kind of partnership and progress that will help Helena continue to thrive. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Asham. Okay, seeing no additional public comment, any final commission questions or thoughts? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean.
Yes, Commissioner Logan.
I move to approve a resolution distributing downtown urban renewal district tax increment financing funds to Stockman Financial Corporation for costs associated with pedestrian amenity improvements at 1000 North Last Chance Gulch.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no final discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we will move on to item D, consider approval of a resolution distributing downtown urban renewal district tax increment financing funds to IFH Holdings LLC for costs associated with historic facade and sidewalk improvements at 415 North Last Chance Gulch. Senior Planner Ray.
Mayor and Commission, the third and final TIF request that has been waiting in the queue for many months now was submitted by Dowling Architects on behalf of IFH Holdings LLC, which is BG Stumberg's LLC. He acquired the Ironfront building a number of years ago. This building, I'm sure you're all well aware, is one of our beautiful historic assets in the downtown, so named because it actually does have an iron facade that is attached to the building. It sustained fire damage in 2023. Just by way of history for everybody, the owners, as I understand things, hired a historic preservation specialist architect in Billings to craft a feasibility study. And coming out of that, they hired Dowling Architects to work on some plans for renovating that structure. So what is before you this evening is a request for $589,526.50 that will specifically address a lot of the critical historic facade improvements to that building, which include window replacement for the entirety of the building, exterior demolition and masonry repair, and exterior painting. And they're also going to be making some critical sidewalk improvements to address accessibility and safety concerns, I think most especially on Jackson Street. The project will entail a total of $5.9 million invested into the building as they put more housing back into the building. And we are excited to bring this to you. It was unanimously recommended for funding approval at that June 9th TIF Advisory Board meeting, just like the other applications. And if you have any questions of me, I'm happy to entertain them. I believe Mike Dowling from Dowling Architects is also online if you've got questions for him.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Yes, Commissioner Gustafson.
Thank you, Mayor Dean, and thank you, Senior Planner Ray. I'll ask kind of the same question, even though the answer now is that the work plan isn't all the, anyways. Please tell me more about how this fits the priorities for the downtown TIF district.
Mayor, Commissioners, I just want to note the work plan is still very important to the district.
Yes.
But this fits into it because it is entailing historic facade improvements and preservation of one of our historic assets in the district specifically.
Thank you. And then maybe more of a comment. I know the application, I read through all the applications. I know this is not for the housing piece of it, but I'm excited that this would be a first step to bring back some housing to our downtown on those 2 floors after the fire. That I think that's a needed thing for our community, so I appreciate that from the applicant, and I appreciate their restoring such a historic building.
Mayor and Commissioner, I should note, I think that there's an additional story of housing too.
3 stories?
Because of the ballroom level.
Oh, future housing, not
think,
current,
yeah.
not former housing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Great, thank you. Any additional questions? All right, seeing no additional questions, is there any public comment? Any public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment, any final thoughts from the commission? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean.
Yes, Commissioner Reed.
I move to approve a resolution distributing downtown urban renewal district tax increment financing funds to IFH Holdings LLC for costs associated with the historic facade and sidewalk improvements at 415 Northwest Chance Gulch.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no final discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we'll move on to considering a resolution of intention to specify the assessment option for the stormwater utility service area for FY '27 and levy and assess all property within the service. Mr. Leland.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. We discussed this at the admin meeting, and this is the assessment that is used to fund the stormwater utility for the city of Helena. We base it on the impervious area with a max of the residential. But this is for the treatment of stormwater, the transfer of stormwater through the city. We maintain and operate with this fund along with the capital improvements. We are not asking for any increase with this assessment. The only change we are going to have is to remove the PTAP designation just because it is irrelevant or not appropriate, in better terms, not appropriate for it being used on assessments. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Questions for Director Leland? All right, seeing no questions, is there any public comment? Any public comment? All right, seeing no public comment and no additional commission discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean.
Yes, Commissioner Logan.
I'd move to approve a resolution of intention to specify the assessment option for the stormwater utility service area for fiscal year 2027 and levy and assess all property within the service, and to set a public hearing date for August 17th, 2026.
It's been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Okay. We'll move on to item F, consider a resolution of intention to specify the assessment option for the landfill monitoring and maintenance district for FY '27 and levy and assess all property within the district. Mr. Leland.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. This is an assessment to be able to take care of the old landfill that is underneath Centennial Park. This is a requirement by DEQ for monitoring methane that is being produced, treating of the methane, and treating and monitoring any groundwater, which we do at the golf course. We are not asking for any increase, and we had just had this one passed in 2027, this set the 27, it was 2 years ago that we set it. We had to go through it with the, because of the legislation that came in, so we have gone out, did the protest vote, so this is basically a new assessment, but we are not asking for any new increases, just to remove the PTAP. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Director Leland? All right, any public comment on this item? Is there any public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment and no additional commission discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean,
Yes, Commissioner Rigby.
I move to approve a resolution of intention to specify the assessment option for the landfill monitoring and maintenance district for fiscal year 2027 and levy and assess all property within the district, and to set a public hearing date for August 17th, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no additional discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, item G, consider resolution of intention to specify the assessment option for the collection and disposal of residential garbage and refuse for fiscal year 2027 and levy and assess all properties receiving residential solid waste and collection. Director Leland.
Thank you, Mayor, Commission. Again, this is an assessment for the residential collection. We are not asking for any increase, but on the August 12th admin meeting, we are going to bring the rate study forward for all of solid waste collection. So you'll be able to see something and see where the overall utility should go, but at this point, we are not asking for any increase. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Questions for,
I will point out, it is still the 3,000 pounds for the permit that you get. So you get the collection plus the 3,000 pounds at the landfill, or at the transfer station.
Yep, great. Questions, Commissioner Rigby?
Thank you, Mayor Dean. Just so the recommendations on the packet, only reason I asked because it's in italics, so just making sure everything, okay.
Sorry.
I've been known to say the wrong thing before, so just making sure.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner Gustafson.
Thank you. Question I maybe should have asked during the admin meeting. For the change from $5 to $10 for the cost of replacing the residential permit, the increase is to de-incentivize users to keep their permit at home. Do you have a sense of what it actually costs to replace a permit in staff time?
Mayor Dean, Commission, coming from the staff and the superintendent, you are looking anywhere from 15 to 20, depending on how much time that it is spent. And he felt that it was only appropriate just to double it, not to go any higher, because this affects mostly scratch gravel residents and not city residents. So just incrementally bring it up and see if this will deter any of them.
Thank you. Hopefully it does.
So just to clarify, it really costs double this in staff time, cost of
Mayor.
staff time to the city?
Mayor, yes.
Yeah, okay, thanks. All right, seeing no additional questions or comments, is there any public comment? Any public comment? All right, seeing none, and no additional comments from the commission, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean.
Yes, Commissioner Reed.
I move to approve a resolution of intention to specify the assessment option for the collection and disposal of residential garbage and refuse for fiscal year 2027 and levy and assess all properties receiving residential solid waste collection and set a public hearing for August 17th, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no final discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
All right, item H, we will consider a resolution of intention to specify the assessment option for the Open Space Maintenance District Number 1 for fiscal year 2027, levying an assessment on all properties within the district. Mr. Langsather.
Mayor Dean, Commissioners, thanks for having me up here today. City staff are recommending that we stay static with the rate of $20 per lot for the Open Space Maintenance District, and that we raise the impervious space rate to 0.00971 for those lots that are exceeding the baseline of 2,222 square feet of impervious space. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions or comments for Mr. Langsather? Okay, seeing none. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean?
Yes, Mr. Commissioner Rigby.
Thanks. Move to approve a resolution of intention to specify the assessment option for the Open Space Maintenance District Number 1 for fiscal year 2027, levying an assessment all property within the district, and to set a public hearing for August 17th, 2026.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, seeing no additional discussion. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
All right, item I, we will consider a resolution of intention to specify the assessment option for the special street lighting districts for fiscal year 2027 and levy and assess all properties within the district. Ms. McLean.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This particular assessment is to defray the costs of maintaining those lighting districts. Currently, the city administers 54 lighting districts, and rates are set each year to capture the cost of electricity, maintenance, and administration for each district. The calculation is based on the projected cost of service and the cash in the fund. And with that, I will stand for any questions.
Questions or comments from the commission? I did have one.
Okay.
This is, I think lighting districts sometimes confuse people. We essentially are just the pass-through to Northwestern Energy, who actually owns the vast majority and operates the vast majority of lights in the city. Is that accurate?
Mayor, that is correct. Yep.
Okay, great, thank you.
Another question?
Yes, go
Thank you,
ahead.
Mayor Dean. And this is, because there's more than one, right? And so this is for all of them?
Correct, there are 54. Yep,
Lighting districts,
yes, yes,
Yes.
more than 54 lights.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
yes.
Okay, seeing no additional comments or questions, is there any public comment? Any public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean,
Yes, Commissioner Logan.
I move to approve a resolution of intention to specify the assessment option for the special street lighting districts for fiscal year 2027 and levy and assess all properties within the districts and set a public hearing date for August 17, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, seeing no additional discussion. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
All right, we will move on to item J, consider resolution of intention to levy and assess properties to recover the amortized loans issued under the Residential Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy Loan Program for tax year 2026. Ms. McLean.
All right, yes, thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. This one is citizens can take out loans to pay for some alternative energy improvements, and this is just in order to assess them to pay back those loans. In the last fiscal year, 14 property owners entered into these 0% interest loans, and currently we have 59 outstanding loans to be collected for tax year 2026 for a total amount of $66,256.82. The overall outstanding balance of all loans as of the end of the fiscal year was $442,790. I believe the maximum they can ask for is $12,000, and with that, I will take any questions.
Okay, any questions or comments for Ms. McLean? All right, seeing none, is there any public comment? Any public comment? All right, seeing no public comment, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean.
Yes, Commissioner Reed.
I move to approve a resolution of intention to levy and assess properties to recover the amortized loans issued under the Residential Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy Loan Program for the tax year 2026 and set a public hearing for August 17th, 2026.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no additional discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, item K, we will consider resolution of intention to specify the assessment option for the street maintenance and improvement district number 1 for fiscal year 2027 and levy and assess all property within the district.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This does have a methodology change to this, as we had discussed in our budgetary meetings. Basically, we had some flat rates that were on some of our assessments, and others were to the square foot. We, through our methodology change, we set the split between commercial and residential, and then we also changed everything to a square foot cost to make it a little bit clearer across the board on how those funds came up with. So smaller properties are obviously going to have a little bit less of a assessed cost. Larger will be larger, but I believe that off the top of my head, it was the average ended up being around the 220 range, where we're at 216 now. So again, it'll vary depending on the property size. So the proposed rates are residential up to 12,200 feet is just under 3 cents per square foot. Mobile home up to 1 million square feet, 2.4 cents per square foot. And then commercial properties up to 1 million would be at the 6 cents per square foot. Did want to clear up the mobile home question that we had at the beginning when we went over this previously. For the McHugh Mobile Home Park, that was just an error in the application of the assessment in the last fiscal year. The previous fiscal years, they had been assessed properly according to the resolution, so it was just that 1 year that was assessed in error. Don't understand, don't have a clear reason why, but that's what it was. So we're not changing that. It would be something that mobile home parks would be expecting. With that, we recommend approval of this motion and to set the public hearing date of August 17th, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, questions for Director Konopky? Commissioner Logan.
Thank you, Mayor Dean. Director Konopky, I think at one of our recent administrative meetings where the street maintenance district came up, you would, I had asked the question about the commercial, I can't remember the term for it, but the reevaluation or assess on their assessments if they felt like they did not have property that was situated where they were getting any kind of benefit out of the assessment. And there is a process. Is it online as yet? And what is the end date for such application for reevaluation?
Mayor and Commissioners, it's if a property owner can prove that they have their commercial lot is 40% or more undeveloped, they can submit basically their justification to us. We'll evaluate it. We'll look at our aerials compared to theirs. If they do, then we'll pass that. That lot would be assessed whatever percentage was deemed developed, and then the undeveloped piece would be assessed the vacant lot rate. If they do have more than 40% developed, then the lot gets assessed at the regular rate. I would have to double check, but I remember that the date, the no later date was August 15th. And if that isn't up or clearly available on the website, we'll extend that out to the end of the month to ensure that those property owners have every opportunity to get those into us.
Just a follow-up comment. I'm not seeing it on the streets portion of the city's website. So I'm assuming it's not up.
Yeah, Mayor and Commissioner, if it's not, we'll put a PSA out and we'll extend that deadline out.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any additional questions?
Mayor Dean?
Yes, Commissioner Rigby.
Director Kanapke, so with the McHugh Trailer Park, they didn't pay their assessments last year? Is that correct?
Mayor and Commissioner, they got charged basically one mobile home.
Sure.
Last year, whereas previous years they were charged the correct rate for each mobile home in the park.
Follow up?
Yep.
And so with the trailer park like that, is that like the collective McHugh Trailer Park gets charged that and then it's a pass-through? Like then it's, or does each individual trailer per se get charged that assessment from us?
So Mayor and Commission, most mobile home parks are a private property, so they get assessed per trailer, and that gets assessed to the property owner, which I'm assuming passes that through to the renters.
Another one? So did anyone else pay that assessment, or are we just short that money?
Mayor and Commissioners, for the McHugh Trailer Park, we're just going to be short that. We haven't gone through the process of issuing an amended property assessment.
Okay. One more, please.
Go ahead.
Thank you. For the city attorney, what would that process look like?
Mayor Commissioner Rigby, I don't actually know what the process is for that. That might be something that Director Konopke is aware of, but I can get you the answer to that question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Mayor and Commissioner, we'll get back to you on that. We were still looking into how difficult the process that was and what steps entailed, but I don't have that answer for you tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner Gustafson.
Thank you, Mayor Dean. A question that I'm not quite sure how to word, but when we do the streets assessment, it's based on what we plan to do in the next year and what we've done and kind of our philosophy for the level of maintenance and rebuilding of streets that we have in Helena. So and I saw you nod, so I think that's correct. One of the things I hear sometimes from constituents is, why are the dirt streets not paved? Why aren't we replacing more streets more often? If we were to do a big plan where we replaced a bunch of old streets or paved all the dirt roads, which I know there's reasons why we don't pave all the dirt roads, traction and whatnot, but would that come, if we wanted to do something like that, that would come out of a big jump in assessment? Or can you speak to a little bit of how paving priorities line up with assessment rates?
Sure, Mayor and Commissioners. So that would come over a number of years. There's not the contractors or the resources to, do it in 1 year. So that would be looking at a phase plan on how to improve, we'll just say all the streets in Helena, over 10 years or something. So that could come in the form of increased rates for that time period. That could come in the form of a special improvement district, a number of different ways to do that. So it would just be a matter of identifying those streets to be improved and then the best avenue to do those either assessments or SIDs or loans or however that looks.
A follow-up, if I may. So our current plan, and apologies if I should know this, on how, when and where we improve streets. Is that based on the long-range transportation plan, or what are our current priorities when it how do I word this question? What are our current priorities?
So Mayor and Commission, right now, we're in maintenance mode. We're in pavement preservation. So those, we look at a number of variables, traffic volumes, number of maintenance or the condition of the road. Have we had issues with, potholes? Do we have some delamination from, past projects? We look at those holistically and then identify the ones in most need. Now, I understand that those, how they're determined in most need, may not align with expectations from residents or the general public, but we try to balance that. And so to do anything above and beyond what we're basically doing right now would require a rate increase to increase the amount of funding to do more streets more often.
Okay. Any additional questions or comments for Director Knopke? All right, seeing none, is there any public comment? Any public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment and no additional discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean.
Yes, Commissioner Reed.
I move to approve a resolution of intention to specify the assessment option for the Street Maintenance and Improvements District Number 1 for fiscal year 2027 and levy and assess all property within the district and to set a public hearing date on August 17th, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no additional discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we will move on to item L, consider resolution of intention to levy assessments for improvement in sidewalk, curb, gutters, and alley approaches in the city of Helena, Montana for tax year 2026. Ms. McLean.
All right, thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. So this one is for our sidewalk program. Last year this year, 2026 season, the city entered into 14 agreements with property owners, and these agreements cover the cost of improving the sidewalks and repairing sidewalks. And then those agreements allow us to assess the property owners to pay back for that, the cost of those services. And they will be on their assessments for 10 years unless they pay off those agreements earlier. The total new property assessments for tax year 2026 is $100,675. And if you have any questions, I'm here.
Okay, questions for Ms. McLean? All right, seeing no questions from the commission, is there any public comment? Any public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment and no additional discussion, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean.
Yes, Commissioner Rigby.
I move to approve a resolution of intention to levy assessments for improvement of sidewalks, curbs, gutters, and alley approaches in the city of Helena, Montana for tax year 2026 and set a public hearing date for August 17th, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no additional discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
And it is 7:30, so as I promised, we're going to take a 10-minute recess, and then we'll come back and finish our last 5 items. Consider a resolution of intention to levy and assess properties to recover the cost reimbursement for water and wastewater infrastructure installed by the city for tax year 2026. Ms. McLean.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. This one is another cost reimbursement, so property owners can connect to the city water and wastewater infrastructure. This is also known as the West Side. And they're interest-free cost agreements, and this is just an assessment in order to recoup those funds and repay back those agreements. So with that, I will stand for any questions.
Any questions or comments for Ms. McLean, yes.
Question, just out of curiosity, why is it called the Canon reimbursement?
I think that was the original name of it, but just in the city we call it West Side, but I would defer to Director Leland for additional background.
Oh, okay. Just out of curiosity, just the Canon reimbursement, did it start on Cannon Street? Just for everyone's history.
Mayor and Commissioner, it was because of the street that was majority of where we put all of the different mains in there, so we had to call it something. That was our project, so it was Cannon Street Water and Sewer Main, so we just carried it on.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any additional questions? All right. Is there any public comment on this item? Any public comment? All right, seeing no public comment and no additional commission discussion, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean.
Yes, Commissioner Reed.
I move to approve a resolution of intention to levy and assess properties to recover the cost of reimbursement for water and wastewater infrastructure installed by the city for tax year 2026 and set a public hearing date for August 17th, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no additional commission discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we'll move to item N. Consider city manager's recommendation to carry over $50,958,635 in expenditures and $12,729,385 in revenues from fiscal year 20 budget to fiscal year 26 budget to fiscal year 27 budget. Ms. McLean.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Commission. This is the same list of projects that you all saw at the July 29th meeting, and it's just our recommendation to move forward with these projects to continue all of the progress the city is making and any ongoing projects that may be impacted by construction season or any other outstanding things like that. And for that, I will stand for questions.
Okay, any questions or comments from the commission?
Mayor Dean.
Yes, Commissioner Logan.
So the motion in the packet is much simpler than what the mayor read. Is it sufficient?
Mayor, Commissioner Logan, yes, it is sufficient to do
Thank
the
you.
one in the packet.
Okay, yes, Commissioner Gustafson.
A question that I'm not sure if you can answer. Is this carryover amount, how does this compare to previous years? I know we have a couple big ARPA grants we're still spending down. Is this more than normal or about average, if you know?
Thank you, Commissioner. It is more than last year, but that is the only year I could speak to.
I'm looking at the two directors. I wonder if Director Knopke or Director Leland might be able to come up. I think in the post CARES and ARPA years, we've seen consistently higher. But if one of you will speak to that.
Mayor, Commissioner, it is considerably higher over the past 3 years, and that is because of the ARPA or CARES Act funding. We have several big projects that have gone on just for design and construction and finding out everything. So it is considerably higher, and as we get projects done, you'll see it back down to, around the 20 million mark or lower, depending on how much of the equipment we need, that takes to be able to find the equipment that is out there is the big ones.
Yep. And a follow-up, if I may. So, and I should know this because you told me this, the ARPA funding does wrap up this year, so this is our last year, or do we have a couple more years to carry these over?
Mayor, Commissioner, for Public Works, all of those wrap up this year. However, part of the ARPA project is the Crosstown Connector, which we got SRF funding, which was matched for a lot of the ARPA funding. That will continue for another 2 years because there's only a limited time frame that we can shut that main down, and it'll be in the fall and early spring. So this will go on for a couple more years. So essentially, yes, but a little bit lingering for that one.
Thank you.
And I think it might be worth noting, as we transition from the design grants for the rail crossing elimination and the build grant. Once we transition from design to implementation, the implementation grants will be a lot more, and we will be successful. But those are ones that, like, I think that we can probably expect this again as we continue to be successful in acquiring grants. Okay. Is there any public comment on this item? Any public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment and no additional commission discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean.
Commissioner Logan.
I move to approve the city manager's recommendation to carry over expenditures and revenues from the FY '26 budget to the FY '27 budget.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no additional discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 12, public hearings. Item A, consider a resolution to grant an exclusive right-of-way use permit to allow Helena College use and maintenance of the Engle parking along the south side of Townsend Avenue between Sanders Street and Harris Street. Director Knopke.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. As you stated, this is for Helena College, use of the parking alongside Townsend Avenue adjacent to the practice field for Helena High. In conjunction with this exclusive use permit, Helena College is requesting the Commission's permission to erect parking signage that restricts parking to Helena College. That's the reason for the request for the exclusive use. We'll work, if this is approved, we'll work closely with the college to ensure that the signs are meeting standards. The college has been sweeping and restriping this parking for the past 13 years, and they're requesting the permit fee be waived or reduced to the minimum $50. As per the city code, when we calculate the use, the right-of-way value for these exclusive use, you take the property adjacent, you get the square foot cost, and then you multiply it by the amount of square footage they're requesting. So in this case, the fee with the 5% annual permit fee would be like just under $3,000 a year. But with them being such a good partner over the last few years, or not few, 13 years plus years, we're recommending the fee be waived. Not only for that, but this is directly impacting from the Helena High construction project. With that construction project, the school district is providing other parking for the students, and to ensure that this parking remains open for their students, that's why they're requesting this. So this is a little bit different because typically the adjacent property owner has the opportunity to request exclusive use. But in this case, the Helena School District sent a letter in support to, I'll just read it to you. Helena City Commissioners, I'm writing on behalf of the Helena School District Number 1 and our support of Helena College to have the exclusive use of the 40 parking spaces on Townsend Avenue during the construction on the new Helena High School, PAL, District Kitchen, and Stadium. Helena College has been a great partner through this process, and we appreciate their need for those parking spaces for their students and staff. We look forward to continuing to work together throughout this construction period and beyond. And please let us know if you need anything else from us to signify support for this move. So in that light, the staff is recommending the fee be waived since it is kind of a multi-prong issue. So in your recommended motion, again, just like the last one, if you choose to waive the permit fee or to waive the fee or reduce to the minimum, you just have to state that at the end of the motion. And I apologize for the lengthy motion language in your packet. I will make sure we shorten that up a little bit as much as possible for you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, questions for Director Knopke? Yes, Commissioner Gustafson.
Thank you, Mayor Dean, and apologies if this is in the packet. Is this a annual waiver or an all-time, or annual exclusive use Or is it just for a year? Oh, that was the same thing. I thank you, forever or for a year. Thank you, Director Konopki.
Mayor and Commissioners, so exclusive use permits are good for 5 years. And so this is, they're requesting this exclusive use during the period of construction of Helena High. So at the end of the construction, we would assume that this would end as well. But we have that limited time frame and then the construction time frame to hear those. But that fee is an annual fee that paid is 5% of the actual right-of-way value for that period of time. So it would be a waiver of the fees over the period of time of use. So only the construction time frame or limit to 5 years as the exclusive use.
A follow-up, if I may. So are you saying that we would need to waive, if we chose to waive the fees, do we need to do that every year, or could we specify that we're waiving the fees for the length of this exclusive use permit?
Mayor and Commission, the second one.
That
Just
we-
over the
it would-
period of the exclusive use
Of the 5-year
permit,
permit, we would waive the fees, but the numbers you put in there are annual years, not or annual fees, not 5 years
Yes.
apiece. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, additional questions? Okay, seeing none, is there any public comment on this item? Ms. Bowman?
Madam Mayor, members of the commission, thank you so much for hearing our request for exclusive use for the parking. As you've heard over the last several weeks, we are looking to be good partners in our neighborhood and provide safe parking for all of the students in our neighborhood, school district and Helena College. And with that, I'd like to especially thank Director Konopki and staff in the Transportation Department. They've been very helpful through this process. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have for me.
Great. Thank you, Madam President. Any questions for the applicant? Okay, seeing none. Thank you. All right, is there any additional public comment? Okay, seeing no additional public comment and no further commission discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Dean.
Commissioner Logan.
I move to approve a resolution to grant an exclusive right-of-way use permit allowing Helena College use and maintenance of the angled parking along the south side of Townsend Avenue between Sanders Street and Harris Street, along with the permission to erect restricted parking signage at the back of the adjacent sidewalk in compliance with city standards and to waive the permit fee throughout the 5-year period of the permit.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no additional commission discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Reed.
Aye.
Commissioner Rigby.
Aye.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, is there any general public comment on any item not discussed on tonight's agenda? Any general public comment? Okay, seeing no general public comment, any final thoughts from the commission? Okay, seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.